Hello everyone. In this session, we'll look at division of decimals. We'll look at three different scenarios in which we do division of decimals. These are divide by power of 10, divide by whole number, and divide by decimal number. Let's look at the first situation. Let's take an example. 5.2 divided by 100. Now remember from your multiplication of decimals, when we multiplied the decimal by a power of 10 number, we moved the decimal point towards right side. So we'll do exactly opposite, which means when we divide a decimal by power of 10 number, then we will move the decimal point towards left. So let's first count the number of zeros in the divisor. There are two zeros in the divisor. So let's write the dividend without the decimal point. So 5.2 will become 52. We'll take the decimal point for reference just above the number and we will move two places to the left. We moved one place. We don't have a number to move the second place, so we'll add 0 and we'll move second place. And hence our decimal point will come just before 0 and our answer is equal to 0.052. Let's take one more example. 1.023 divided by say 10. So that is equal to the step 1, we will write the dividend as it is. So 1023. We will take the decimal point as a reference. Now count the number of zeros in the divisor. In this case, we have 1 0, which means we have to move the decimal point one place to the left. So let's move it, and the decimal point comes just before 1. So our answer is 0.1023. Let's take one more example. 52.307 divided by 1000. So what is our first step? First step is to write the dividend as it is without the decimal point. So that becomes 52307. Now take the decimal point for your reference. Count the number of zeros in divisor. Here we have 3 zeros. So now the reference decimal point will move 3 places to the left. 1, 2. Now we don't have the third place, so we'll add a 0 and then we'll give the decimal point. So our answer becomes 0.052307. Let's now look at dividing the decimal by a whole number. Let's take an example. 0.52 divided by 13. Now the step 1 is to divide the numbers ignoring the decimal points, which means we will ignore the decimal point in our 0.52 and 0.52 will become 52, and we'll divide 52 by 13 so that we get answer 4. So let's write the answer 4 in our main area. Now in 4 is a whole number. Whole number always has a decimal point to the right of it, which is invisible. It is not seen, but we don't write it, but it is there. So let's take this decimal point for a reference. So we have 4 and then after 4 there is a small decimal point. Now let's count the number of digits after decimal point in our dividend. We have 2 digits after decimal point in our dividend. So as we know, division means our decimal point moves towards left. So we will move two places to the left. So from current decimal point it moves here, and then we don't have the second place, so we'll add 0 and then we'll move the second place. So we get answer 0.04. Let's take one more example. 4.2 divided by 14. So step 1, ignore the decimal point and perform division, which is 42 divided by 14. 14 threes are 42, so answer is 3. Take the answer in our main area, 3. Now because the answer is whole number, we have a decimal point just after the whole number. Count the number of digits after decimal point in dividend, 1. So which means we have to move our decimal point one house to the left, and so our answer is 0.3. Let's perform one more example. This time we'll use 0.6 divided by 12. Now again, step 1, perform division, forget the decimal points. 6 divided by 12. Answer is half. Half is 0.5. So write 0.5 in the main area, but don't write the decimal point there, just write it above the number for our reference. Count the number of digits after decimal point in dividend. In our case, it is now 1. So move the decimal point to the left by 1 place. So the decimal point moves before 0 and the answer becomes 0.05. Let's now look at division of decimals by another decimal. Let's take an example, 0.52 divided by 1.3. Now we have different methods of doing this. I will first explain you the method given in your book. To explain the method in a better fashion, let's write this division in a fractional form, which is 0.52 upon 1.3. Division can also be written as a fraction. So now in this case, step 1 is to make the denominator here a whole number. So to make the number 1.3 convert it into whole number, what I need is I need to move the decimal point one place to the right. And if I do that, my 1.3 becomes 13, which is a whole number. But we know the rule of fractions. If we perform any operation on our denominator, we need to perform same operation on the numerator as well to ensure that value of this fraction does not change. So we will also move the decimal point in the numerator by 1 place to the right. So now this becomes 5.2 divided by 13, or 5.2 upon 13, which can also be now written in our original form as 5.2 divided by 13. Now you can see we have converted our sum into division by whole number, and we have already learned division by whole number. In division by whole number, what we do is first perform the division without the decimal point or ignoring the decimal point. So in this case it would be 52 divided by 13, and we get answer 4. Now we know in 4 the decimal point is after 4. So let's take it as a reference just above the number. Let's now count the number of digits after decimal point in our dividend, and it is 1 here. So we have to move this decimal point 1 place to the left, and we move that just before 4. So the answer becomes 0.4. So just to revise what we did, we just performed one additional step in this case where we made the divisor into a whole number by shifting the decimal point. Let's take a few more examples so that we understand it better. Let's take 0.56 divided by 0.14. So I'm writing it in the form of fraction itself for better understanding. Denominator here I have 0.14. The decimal point I need to move 2 places so that I get a whole number. So I move the decimal point 2 places to the right to get 14, but I have to move the numerator decimal also 2 places to the right. So I get 56 upon 14, and 56 upon 14 is 4. There are no decimal points involved here, so the answer is 4. Let's take one more example. 0.49 divided by 0.7. How many houses I need to move the decimal point in my denominator? I need to move it 1 place to get a whole number. I need to move that 1 place in the numerator as well. So after moving these decimal points, what I get is 4.9 divided by 7. Now I have a decimal division by whole number. In that first step is ignore the decimal and perform the division. So 49 divided by 7 gives me 7 sevens are 49, 7 as the answer. So I write 7 in my main area. I have hidden decimal point after 7. Now I go to my dividend. My dividend in this case is 4.9, which has 1 digit after decimal place. So my decimal point in my answer has to move towards left by 1 place, and hence I get answer 0.7. For a complete understanding of fractions and decimals, do watch our other videos on this topic. We'll come back with another video in short time. Till then, goodbye.